Hey everybody, how we doing today? Another beautiful day here in the Florida Keys. It's got some somewhat light winds coming out of the southeast. I'm over here at the Spanish Harbor Bridge launch. Bam, already ready to go. I figured I'd do one more prospecting over here since I got some free time. Today I think what I'm going to do is to try the Atlantic side to the west. Follow that edge and see how it looks along there, and then meet up where I can launch from for that coupon bite area where I did a previous video from. If the wind and the tide make it too choppy out there, I could always come back to the Gulf side and work that outside edge, because that's something I want to check out as well. Might do a quick bait run first to see if there's pilchards around, since I will be wanting to do a bridge fishing trip here coming up. But otherwise, yeah, let's see what we can do. Well, no pilchards now, but we're at low tide, you can kind of see, so they end up getting pushed out. I didn't look as I was coming around the corner there or on the other side. But now what we're gonna do is run across. I want to basically take a look at the edge over there from the Sunshine Resort campgrounds, follow that edge, and then around the point a bit, and check those flats out front there. All right, we made the run across here, the channel. So we launched over there and just came across. I think this is the Sunshine RV and campground or something like that. But what I'm going to end up doing is just running along this edge. There's some nice flats. The channel is kind of in there, and then it wraps around to a point and then around to the other side, and then there's a stretch of residentials that go to that coupon bite area. So I'm just going to kind of work that, see what the visibility is on the outside. We're at low tide, so it's a perfect time to come out here and kind of see what it is like up on the up close shorelines, and yeah, see what we see. You can see it's got a long stretch of rough shoreline there, but I'm gonna come up onto this little sandbar here, see if it's hard sand, maybe take a walk around, maybe some bonefish around. That's creating a nice little windbreak, kind of knock down the waves. Yeah, this is a pretty cool little sandbar. It goes pretty far. You definitely could wade this, I guess, if you can get across that little channel there at low tide. But it seems to go all the way and wraps around a little bit, so we'll go to that end there. Love to see a bonefish on this stuff, but I don't think so. Maybe out towards the end. These areas look really like permit spots. Nice little lobster edges. Oh, there's a lobster carapace. That's all undercuts along those edges. All right, so we'll start angling across here, see what we see. And this looks like a kind of a whirlpool. That looks interesting. Got these tides doing all this different stuff, coming around, going out, coming in. See all the pilchards. This whole bottom is all filled full of pilchards. Oh my gosh, the whole thing. Running all over them. Wow, that's a good catch. Holy smoke, there's a lot of them. Oh, that's good to know. So I'm just gonna run along this edge. This is kind of that scruffy, not a lot of current bottom. Doesn't look to be the most productive. This looks really cool though, the landscape. But I want to get on the other side of that point, and I think it might be a little better. Oh, there goes a tarpon. He didn't even care. All right, well, probably because those pilchards are there, those tarpon are there. All right, so we're at that point. And I can see we're at real low tide because that is all up. but tide should be switching here in an hour or two, and that'll actually be good because that'll start allowing those fish to start moving up. I want to just take a look and see what the bottom is like, if it's going to be a attractive bottom or not. See, it's got this kind of algae bottom, which I don't think is good. I don't know, I'll go a little bit farther in and see if I think the water's a little better up there. As I've gotten in a little bit farther from that point, the water's cleared up. It's less dusty, less of that algae stuff. I mean, it doesn't get a ton of current because you can see how these turtle grass has dust on them. The tide's not enough to keep them clear, but the water's clean, have somewhat healthy grass. Not too bad. We're definitely on the lower side right now, so I would see the backs of fish if there's anything with size in here, but we'll see how it goes in the next hour or two when the tide starts moving in. Plus, I'd like to get in a little farther to see what that looks like, since that's my wind block in there. See, this is the stuff I like to see, this real fine grass, and then all these little wormholes means food. Yeah, all these little pockets around here. So the launch I use, which is on more the other side, is 3 light poles, so 1, 2, 3, so it'd be right around there. I launch there and go on the back side. So that was a couple of videos ago in regards to the coupon bite aquatic preserve. So I'm pretty close to it here, and this is that same parallel run. I'm just doing it on the Atlantic side. Well, we got our first tailing fish. That's what we want there. That is a shark. Not what we were wanting, but signs of life is good. There, Mr. Lemon Shark. Show me the bonefish. Where are the bonefish? Yeah, this is a nice flat right here. Yeah. Nice. Now this is the broken bottom that I always like. It's got the kind of the coral uprisings, and then you have the soft sand silt in between them, and then along those edges, that's where all the crustaceans and shrimp and little fishies hide out, and that's where those permit and bonefish will come through and be rutting in those corners and those sandy spots and trying to scare out a meal. The other thing I like is there's distinct edges, so you can see the light sands and then the turtle grass darker areas. Not necessarily because the fish are feeding along those edges, but when fish are in this, it's very difficult to see them, but a lot of fish will run right along the edge there looking for that food, as well. It's an easier place to swim along that edge, and then it gives them makes them a lot easier to see. So some places are just entirely turtle grass like that. I don't even try them because I just can't see. There's another flats creature there, little blacktip shark. That's living organism, so that's a good sign. Nice white sand patches here. These are permit spots. All these little patches, they'll hang out in those. They're where the sand lays up tends to be depressions, so there'll be current breaks, so they could hide out and forage for food or just relax. It got quite a bit deeper when you get in front of these houses, 2 to 3 foot. Back there I was 6 to 8 inches. And I'm not gonna be able to see much here. I think I'll just run on the other side of that pier there and take a look. You can see how tanicky the water got over here. I think it's because we're coming up to the outlet the first outlet, and that's that little beach launch there at the end of the road. All this is really Tanic water. Not so good. Got all the tarpon. Two of them at least. They got pushed out from these channels. Tarpon don't mind the Tanic water, so that's why they're here. I don't think the bonefish and permit really like it that much. All right, so we've gone to the end of the road here. That's where you can park, launch your kayak from the little beach right there. That's the end of this road. The first channel that runs through this peninsula is right there. That gets you to the, not even the Gulf side, but the other side of this peninsula. You can cut through there. And then my other video was going farther down and hitting all the different cuts until you get to the tip where that expensive resort is. So this is kind of the preserve here. This section here is not so good. I think it's because all the water that gets pushed out of here is that kind of backwater, Tanic water stuff. So you can see how the tint of it. Plus you can kind of see how that kind of algae growth there. So I saw those tarpon there, but that's what they're used to. That's what they're born in. So they probably like this stuff fine, but the bonefish permit I don't think are going to. So the other side over there, you can almost see where it turns lighter green there. I liked a lot. So just on the other side of the houses there. And then my premier spot is definitely going to be in the middle here in one of those cuts that go through where I saw those bonefish. That's going to be my choice of spots. But at least I made the run, kind of see what's around here. I do like it up there, so that's, if I want to launch from that Spanish harbor, that would be my good bonefish spot there, permit as well. But yeah, well, we made it to the end. So I'm gonna go back and work out a little bit farther, since it was still pretty skinny, clear water, broken bottom out over there, and then see if I could run into anything. I might take a look, see if those tarpon are still here. They'll generally like bubble and roll and see their tails and stuff, so let's see if they're around. I cut into the shoreline here after or before the houses here, this little bay here. Got a lot of knockdown shrubbery. This is kind of the park where you could walk into. I'm pretty sure if you go from where I launched, instead of going out on that side, you could walk. And I think it comes, a trail comes right out over here, and you can kind of come to this little bit of beach. But this is all just muck water. There's no tidal flow, so it's just dead water. Not much living in here. Pretty icky. But I want to just kind of cruise around the edge. It'd be good if there was a pass through, but unfortunately there's not. This is a good example of, even though I look at it and I could tell pretty well that this is not going to hold the fish that I'm looking for, I'm still over here putting in the time, especially on these prospecting trips, because you never know. I mean, there's no fence line along there that are not allowing fish in. You just got to kind of do it just to know for sure. I doubt I'll ever have to come back in here and I'll be able to cross that off, but at least I know for sure that this is kind of just muck area. Look, there's a deer. There's a deer, and there's a possible water barrel. Can't beat that. Not a bonefish, not a permit, but a deer. I think that's going to be pretty mucky, otherwise I'd go get that barrel. Could always use the second water barrel, or a third water barrel actually. Yep, all the pilchards are still here. That's good to know. Look at all of them. Holy mackerel. I know there was a couple of tarpon around here. More pilchards here. Saw them dimpling. All right, we are back at the campgrounds here. So we did our loop around, check those areas out. So now I think what I'm going to do is hit the west hand side on the north side of US 1 there. Never really fished there, never really seemed like it'd be very good because of our east to west. It tends to blow all the debris and weeds and stuff over there. So we'll go take a look and just check it out anyways. So this is the fishing bridge there. You could park along the side of the road on this side or at the boat launch there. Let's take a look along the edge here, see what we got. This has good wraparound current is one thing. Anchor up here and chum through there. Get a lot of tarpon because the marina's back in there, so they'll come out in the evenings and nighttime. Well, it is cut pretty deep here. That is something. Probably a lot of tarpon around here. Bucket. But this is kind of the collection point of weeds, so you don't have very many access points underneath where you could fish. Yeah, it's going to be kind of flat up here. Too flat. It's just mucky bottom. Yeah, I didn't really expect too much out of here. You can see it on Google Maps that this is just kind of shallow, orangey, moldy water. It's all mucky. And that's pretty much the whole way there. It's a weed collection. Winds blow this way and just kind of pushes everything against there. It stays in there, it rots. It builds up, so the water gets skinny. These are the 5%ers. After the 2 or 3 weekends after the actual opening of lobster season, these are just the last hardcore people. It drops off about 90% after that second week. Bird working. Bet you we'll see some tarpon rolling over there. We'll go check it out. Yeah, it's all weeded up there and then it gets a little deeper in this channel area, but it's all Tanic water. Not so interesting for me. Big shark. All right, we are back, done for the day. Kayaks loaded up. So today we launched from here, came around to the Boy Scouts Club there, came to the campground here, and then worked that little peninsula out here, came around, found a bunch of those pilchards and a few tarpon, worked along all these kind of patch reefs here, all the way down to right about here, and that's where that first cut is. And then I came back along the shoreline, went inside this little bay at the end of the houses, came out there, came through across, went to the Gulf side, checked out this side. You can see how dark it is. That's just rot there, so not really too much. Shallow weeds and rotting stuff there. Came across the bridge, came back to the Cub Scout stuff, checked out a little bit there, and then just called it a day. So that was it. So anyways, that knocks off one more section there. I think my middle islands are still a better bonefish spot, where I would launch from the Coupon Bight little preserve through the mangroves. But if I launch here and go through the Atlantic side, I hit more different spots on the way there versus going around the backside. There's really not a lot of fishing spots, so it's either once I get there that's it, once I get to the backside, it's that kind of dead zone. Whereas if I come back around the Atlantic side, at least I could hit a few more spots on the way there and on the way back. So it kind of depends. But yeah, so I've got to do a day bridge fishing now that I found 3 different pilchard spots there, and on the side over there. That means I can get bait fairly easily, so I can knock off the bridge. I need to knock off that island there, and then I could do a backcountry trip, but it's really just hitting islands I've already hit, so no big deal there. But that's it. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye.